Alrighty, hello. I'm actually re-recording this video. If you saw it on my feed, I'm just remaking it really quick because I just kind of messed up the flow of it and I thought it could be better. So that's what I'm doing. So first and foremost, I do want to talk about the priority of our rotation from the last video on how to play Fury Warrior in the War Within. I kind of messed up on that. That order that I put up there is accurate for now, but the moment we get our tier sets, that is very inaccurate information, and it does change quite a bit just because of how our tier set affects the amount of damage Rampage is going to do for us. So with that being the case, I need to do a little more research, make sure I'm up to snuff on that, and then I'll make an updated video. It'll probably be something along the lines of like how our tier set affects our rotation, But I want to make sure you guys have the right information, and I messed up on that. I didn't do enough research, and I put out some information that was essentially pretty mediocre at this point. So that's my bad. But you're here to hear about stats and trinkets, right? And honestly, it's very, very simple. Our stats are going to be haste and mastery. The reason why it is going to be haste and mastery is because mastery just gives us a flat % damage increase, and haste just allows us to hit our buttons more. If you don't know, if you scroll over your spells, if the cooldown of that spell is green, it means it's actually affected by your haste rating. So I think normally Onslaught is like a 22-second cooldown, but because of the haste I have, it is 16 seconds. I don't, maybe it's like 21, I'm not entirely sure. But because the number is green, it's being affected by haste. Things like Blade Storm or Avatar that have a solid white number are things not affected by haste and are static. You see, Recklessness has that same thing, but it is affected by things in our talent tree like Anger Management. And Blade Storm is also obviously affected by Unrelenting Assault when we pop those stacks to reduce the cooldown of a Blade Storm, right? So that's just what we're looking at. And that is why haste and mastery is very, very good. And, well, speaking of haste, we have the Ara-Kara Shard. This trinket is kind of insane. Like, legitimate. Excuse me, I just, like, burped. This is weird. But this trinket is legitimately insane. Because it's got a lot of haste on it, which is good. And the proc, you go, well, it doesn't have any strength. So this little fight here that I did against Bellular Spawn, this fight was precisely 40 seconds. And in that 40-second time period, this thing procced twice, and I was sitting on 1700 strength, and it can proc even more than that. I've had at least up to 4 procs, which is near 3200 strength. And for a trinket of equivalent item level, being 580, the Skarmorak Shard only gives you 2.08. So, considering that this trinket by itself is giving me, in a fight, 1,000 more primary stat than a trinket with base strength on it. Obviously, it is a proc effect, and it doesn't last the whole time, but just having that general amount of increased strength, because it's our primary stat just throughout a fight, is really, really good. So this trinket is insane. Not only is it insane for us, this thing is basically insane for almost every class in the game. The reason being, because it's a haste proc, if you are, let's say, playing a mage, this thing has an intellect proc. If you're playing a hunter, this thing has a agility proc. It says strength, but that's just because we're strength-based. Meaning, this thing's basically good for everybody. It is crazy strong. It is so strong to the point where no matter what's in my vault, I'm probably fucking taking this thing if it's in my mythic row and I get this on myth track. It's so good, I'm honestly assuming this thing's going to get potentially nerfed because of how good it is. I honestly really haven't taken too much of an in-depth look on the raid trinkets, which I'll probably take a little more as we get closer to the raid. But even with raid trinkets available, when we were beta testing, we were still using Ara-Kara Shard, and then our next best trinket from the Stone Vault second boss, Skarmorak Shard. This thing is very, very good because obviously we like mastery. So a pure strength trinket That gives us mastery on a 1.5-minute cooldown. That 1.5-minute cooldown obviously lines up with our cooldowns, because our cooldowns are a 1.5 minutes. Feels like it's built for us. The only trinket, the only other class that like really gets to use this thing, I think, is Frost DK, because Frost DK has 45-second windows, so they can, every 2 windows with Pillar of Frost, they can pop this and have it within their next Pillar of Frost window, which is really good. But yeah, this thing is insane. Like, I'll just show you now. Like, I'll pop it. Like, we're at 27.1. I'll just activate it, and now we're at 36.7. So this trinket is essentially giving us another 10% damage within our burst window, because it lines up with our avatar, which is really, really strong. It's really, really good. If you're looking for something to farm for pre-BiS, if you're looking for something to farm even when Mythic Plus comes out, getting this thing at a high item level in the hero track is going to be slamming. I see myself using both of these trinkets potentially for the entire season, unless the Sackbrood gets nerfed. I'll probably always be using the Skarmorak Shard, just because the 1.5-minute cooldown lines up with your cooldowns is just really good. But once I take a closer look at the raid trinkets, maybe something changes, but I didn't really see anything. And even on, like I said, even when we did raid testing on beta, I was wearing these 2 trinkets exactly, because they're just so good. Otherwise, there's not really much else to talk about. We use Haste Mastery, go farm Stone Vault second boss for the Skarmorak Shard, and go farm first boss of Ara-Kara for the Sackbrood. It doesn't take very long while you're farming other stuff or doing other things, even if you want to, as an example, just like go do stuff while if you're just a DPS and queue times take a while, go to specific queue, click them both, and just keep them on there until you get one, click off the other, and just farm the other one. It shouldn't take you very long. There are tons of people playing right now, tons of people doing heroics. I would highly recommend that you get these trinkets. I don't know if these trinkets are worth upgrading past 580 right now, though. I'm not really sure how good they are to be your upgrade piece, considering that we're probably going to be able to get, or we're going to be able to get them from Mythic Zeros. I don't really think we're going to be able to get them from Delves. I think Delves have their own like loot system, right? So I think I don't think Delves drop dungeon gear, but even when we're stuck doing +8 Delves and Mythic Zeros, these are going to be very strong and very powerful for you, and they will do you very well. Realistically, you're probably going to want to send upgrades on like your primary stat gear, like your helm, chest, legs, shoulders, as your main pieces, right? Helm, chest, and legs have the most primary stat of everything. But yeah, farm these trinkets, get them to 580. You're chilling. They're really good. I don't really have anything else to talk about. So that's it. Once again, I will fix my rotation video with the tier sets once I have more research done. Yep. Bye-bye. If you want me to talk about other stuff, let me know as well. Okay. I'm not going to say goodbye twice. Fuck you.